LFCTV with your boy Saif, and this is a big one. As you can see, I've got the gang in. Yes.
Come on, man.
Mate, it was a hard one to do because I'm trying to plan this prior to the fixture. I'm thinking, I don't want to have the first time I have everyone on my channel on some funeral vibes, but boom, we're here. And listen, before I get into introducing everyone, guys, please make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel, like, and get in the comments, man, because we've got a lot to talk about today. So, I'd like to introduce the man then. Monts, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, bro. Do you know what? It was an average weekend, but then it just got a whole lot better, man. I'm so glad we got the win. It just needed to happen. It needed to happen. How are you, bro? You good?
No, I'm good, bro. The sun is shining. You know what I mean? I think they knew what time it was, so I'm in a good mood, and I'm just happy to have you, man, just here on my channel, man. Darren, how's things, bro?
I'm all good. I have newborn vibes, thankfully not funeral vibes. So as Monts was saying, the weekend was going to a T, everything was great. And it says this weekend is too perfect. It can it be perfect? Because nothing's ever perfect, is it? Let's be honest. And then Liverpool win, 3 points, clean sheet, topped it off. So all was well, ends well. So into a nice sunny Monday, and it's a change from moody Monday. But all's good, brother, yeah.
Definitely. I like that. My guy Saif. What's what you saying?
Man, it's good to be on.
Listen,
I'm happy. I never thought a win against Sheffield would mean so much to me. You get what I mean? Like,
we're literally all here cheesing. Like we just won number 7 biggies or something. But listen, I'll take that. I'll take that. And last but most definitely not least, Conroy, how are you doing, my guy?
Good guys. As Saif said, just reiterating that, it's I don't think I've ever felt so good about a Sunday night win over Sheffield United. But honestly, it was a pretty good feeling, to be honest, last night. I think that was the first time we've done quite a lot of streams recently, and I think that was actually, I was thinking in my head, that's probably one of the first wins. That's only a handful of wins that have actually had a reaction from on a stream. So I was pretty delighted with that. But at the same time, I'm probably the most measure out of all 5 of us, because I was quite negative on the pre-match about it, as your man here was telling me on the comments. Quite right. I know you need to be positive, but no, it was a good win yesterday.
I was only jiving.
No, mate, you're right. I was watching my reaction yesterday during the game, and I actually rewatched myself, and I was like, I think I was maybe a bit too harsh on the players there, because I think Thiago went to win a header against a 6'4" defender, and I'm like, he's got to be winning that. And I'm like, nah, maybe I need to take a step back here. But no, it was a great.
Stuck in.
I know, and the thing is, it was the most impressive thing for me, guys, was actually, I said to Monts during the week that actually, see, just a win, that wasn't really good enough for me. I think there had to be actual performance, and there was yesterday. I know we'll get into it, but even like the movement of the formation. Like, it wasn't just a standard 4-3-3. I was really impressed, especially I thought the left-hand side. I know Trent was good, but the left-hand side was very impressed. So let me hold you. I'm gonna come back to you, Conroy, because you're shooting ahead. Listen, thanks for the comments, guys. Tom, you said go live with James. I'm not sure if you mean James Redmond, and if you do, you are psychic, because I'm actually doing a live with him on Friday. Fingers crossed again. Hopefully that's a good one. Kind of reviewing the Chelsea game. So make sure you come back and check that out. Shout out Official Saif, obviously, who's on the channel. You got a couple man there shouting you out. And Channing, I'm no snitch, but me starting late wasn't due to me. It was due to a couple other people. Let's just say that.
Throw them under the bus.
Listen, Conroy, straight back to you, man. Let's start off with the game yesterday. Before you go, I was gonna say, let's just. I want to just hear from each person in terms of what you were feeling when you saw the lineup. I'm be honest with you. You broke the exclusive. I was literally chilling. You know, in my head, Kelleher was playing, and I popped on the live stream that you were on, and then you lot started hitting me with Adrian, and I said, "Oh my god." So that was the first time I realised. So I kind of knew that was coming. And when I first saw the lineup, I was a bit despondent with the whole 4-3-3, the same kind of lineup, the same formation, and the same forward line. Obviously, the back was as we thought it was going to be, and the middle is pretty much what we've got. So that was my thoughts. moving on to you, Conroy, what was yours?
See, the thing is, it's a good point you said about Adrian. I think for some reason I found out maybe about, I think I found out about 6 o'clock actually. It's a little bit earlier. For some reason, I think it was one of the persons I follow on Twitter. It was something to do with I think it was Saif. I might have been Saif who told me. Someone told me it was something to do with inside source that there's something to do with a fantasy team and Adrian had been put in or whatever. But so I kind of knew that was going to happen. But to be honest, mate, I was actually fuming, and Saif can back me up in that. I was, and Monts as well, Darren, on the WhatsApp. I was fuming, to be honest, with the 4-3-3 standard again, because I thought all in the preview we'd been saying there needs to be a change. How can he not see that there needs to be a change? But to be fair, I'm glad I was proved wrong, because obviously it looked at the start it was going to be the same, but the movement was very different. I think we can go into that, and everyone else probably have their say. But if you look at like Robertson's movement as well, and I think it turned into a back three, as Saif had mentioned it in last night's stream when they came forward, the two fullbacks. So, and I think you could see that Trent actually thought there's two. It's funny how everyone views a game differently, because I thought the left-hand side was great first half, but then I've watched it again, and I think Trent was very influential first half as well. So I was glad to see that. I've got to be honest though, it was a much better performance, and I did think that was important, because beating Sheffield United is one thing, but then we need to really step up against Chelsea. So I think the fullbacks will have a lot of confidence from that. And I would also say Curtis Jones, by the way, like the guy stepped up massively.
Leave it. We've got a whole set.
That's fine, mate. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that one. But overall, I thought it was a much better performance, and it was. I was actually glad to be proved wrong with the actual movement. I've been saying.
You know what, Conroy? Let me stop you there. I'm going to come back to you into the actual performance. Saif, what was your thoughts? Just kind of going, just in terms of what you saw prior to the match starting, and
so just the lineup, yeah.
Yeah,
Conroy got me fuming as well. I saw him on that stream before the game.
I've had a bad weekend. I've been pretty negative this weekend.
No, but you know,
before you go, Saif, let me just shout out a couple of people in here. Shout out Channing LFC, Conroy and Darren's Irish accent. I'm not the only one then. I'm not the only one that's literally good stuff. Shout out One Touch TV. Make sure you guys are going over and subscribing to him. Any Arsenal fans in here, he's a good guy. Hendo SCN, I see you. So go on, Saif, hit me.
Yeah, Conroy, I like how you let the Irish accent bit slide, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm clearly Scottish, but I like the comments. I'll take that. I'll pretend I'm Irish today.
Yeah, no, to be honest, yeah, talking about the game, I was watching some streams here and there. I didn't get time to jump on them, but I was thinking, why are we doing the same thing again and again? And it's like we did it and did it against Burnley, did it against so many teams, yeah. And it's just I was looking at the game like, what are you doing? I'm gonna have the same game again. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even gonna watch the game. And I was like,
that's why I've asked that question, to be very honest with you, because obviously how the lineup seemed, the formation in which we played, especially when we had the ball, and how the game transpired were very different. And I pretty much thought the same. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I just wanted to just gauge how everyone was thinking prior to it. You know, at least the ball had been kicked off. Darren, what about yourself? What was your thoughts?
I was feeling confident going into the game, as I said to the lads in the preview. Sorry, it's a bit of an echo there.
Apparently, Saif, it might be you. Listen, let me mute Saif and then I'll see if
Well, I was pretty confident going into the game, but like Conroy had said, we needed more than just a win. We had to put on change of formation, and I thought it was really good. I don't want to get into individual performance yet. I know you'll touch on that, but I was a little bit of a mood changer when I seen Jota and Fabinho weren't in the squad. I know Jota travelled with the team; he stayed with them overnight, but he picked up an illness. Fabinho should be back on Thursday, and when he comes back, obviously, like me, I'm probably like you all want to see him going back into midfield and not centre half. So Adrian coming in goal was probably understandable with Kelleher out, and obviously Alisson had to, with the condolences to him and his family with his father passing away, he wasn't going to be in the team. So it was a mood changer having Adrian in goal, no Jota, no Fabinho. I thought, well, there's not going to be a lot of options here in terms of how we're going to set up and who's going to play. But
so you expect Jota and
Fabinho to be in the squad. Yeah, I was. Yeah. And Milner obviously back was great. And one of the great things was we were winning and seeing James Milner come on, because when you're winning by 2 goals and Milner comes on, you're going to see out the game. And that's why I always love to see that, because he is the type of player you bring on when you're winning, with his experience, no nonsense type of character. You just know you're there to see out a game then. And it was great to see that and to have that option, I suppose. You know what I
mean? All right. No, like that. Monts, talk to me.
Do you know what? I was really happy we got the win. At the end of the day, that was all we needed, of course. But there were a few things, at times that were.
What was your thoughts on the lineup? What was your thoughts when you seen the lineup?
Do you know what? When I saw Adju, and obviously we knew.
Kind of knew.
Yeah, we knew. He did make 2 good saves and stuff. And you know what? What did I say about Phillips? What did I say, guys? Come on, I did say what I say about Phillips. Yeah, I mean,
big up Nat.
Everyone's been doing that. To be fair, like everyone's been doing that.
Literally. And I mean, as I said, I'm still not a fan of Kabak. Still not a fan of him. He didn't have a bad game, but I might just start calling him ball watching Kabak, because it might just be that for me. Because that's so, I'll get into that, but I'll get into that after.
He's got that in the chamber. He's ready to go.
Now, Conroy, you've been on it from high, Conroy. So boom. I feel like a dog like mastiff.
No.
All right, listen. Let's just get crack. Let's crack straight into it, and let's just go into the performances. And before we do, let me just see. Want to big up China and LFC says, guys, I thought we were playing a 3-4-1-2, Bobby dropping into a Cam and Salah and Mane up top. Yeah, I definitely, and with Robertson kind of tucking in the midfield, it was very fluid. I'll get into that. I think that's the word that I want to really, that's my keyword, fluidity. It was so fluid. And I think we've looked a little bit stagnant, a little bit, like I was saying when I had the preview with Saif, that our transitions have just been ridiculous. We are one of the best, and have been for some time, one of the best counter attacking, fast breaking teams, and that just seems like a shadow of ourselves. And we just seem very stuck in the shape in which we have, and that's why there's no ball off the ball movement. However, yesterday, that just seemed we were prepared to throw a lot more men forward. Our attacks were just like, there was one time, I think after the 1-0, when we were playing, we pushed them to the 6-yard box, and I actually had that old Liverpool feeling like, oh, a goal's coming, as opposed to
it's not coming.
we're gonna run out of ideas and push it out to Trent, one of the fullbacks, and he's gonna throw in a cross or something like that. I actually was like, no, like the movement was really, really good. That's enough of me eulogizing. Let's go. Take the floor, anyone.
Boy,
I'll go for it, yeah. Because I got enough to say about the game, yeah. Firstly, yeah,
you like that,
right? Do you remember in your stream before the game, yeah, we were saying that would be nice to see if Robbo could join the midfield a little bit more.
We did say that, and we got hung for that. Shout out LFCTV, who was like, "What did I hear?" We got hung for that, and we were just playing around, just trying to keep things fluid, and it seemed like we seen that. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but that pretty much happened, and I feel like it made such a difference, because I'm not comparing like Henderson and Robbo, yeah, but Robbo has a very kind of an aggressive mentality, or he believes in himself a lot, and you need someone like that on the pitch. And I feel him joining the midfield every now and again was giving a little boost to the midfield, which obviously relays onto the attack. And it helped with our transition speed, it helped with our passing, and for the first time ever, it took more than 5 minutes to complete a full counter-attack, and I love seeing that. And then speaking of the defenders, yeah, I have to give it to Nat Phillips and Kabak. They had a few. In fact, Kabak had a few odd moments, and I know like Conroy and Monts aren't like exactly happy with his performance. But number one, we didn't really have much of a choice. And number two, yeah, I feel like he's just kind of coming into the team. He's young. You got to give him a bit of time. He's probably not the right choice by FSG to buy in the winter transfer window, where you need someone to kind of fill Van Dijk's boots for the time being. But for what he is, he's doing a decent job at it. Oh yeah, sorry. Wait, one more. Yeah, Firmino. Yeah, I was cussing him at the beginning of the game, yeah, big time cussing him, yeah. I was just like, no, why is he on the pitch? Because I wanted Origi on the pitch big time, yeah, and it never happened. So from the beginning, Firmino was like proving me correct. And then as the game went on, he fully proved me wrong because I feel like he had a really good performance.
All right, very quickly, shout out Shannon LFC. Nat Phillips is better than Maguire, no cap. I'm here for it. I'm here for that.
Absolutely.
I'm here for that, yeah.
Let's just calm down.
Let's
Let's everybody calm down, right? He's done well, Phillips, right?
Conroy, man, leave us.
No.
Just picking up a couple of safe points. Daz, I'm going to shoot over to you after, but just picking up a couple of safe points. Firstly, Saif, I think you said 3-0 in our preview. Do you remember what I said?
2-0.
Cool. So
spot on.
It should have been 3-0. Mo Salah misses an open goal.
Yeah,
average, standard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna picking up very, very quickly. I think our performance was very good. Again, that fluidity that I said was we touched upon it, me and Saif, in the preview. Just picking bones and just saying, oh, what if we move Robertson into the middle of the park and stuff, and we got a bit of flack for it. And like you said, it seemed to happen, especially. And what I liked was you didn't need to see Robertson in the midfield. It just happened. As soon as we had the ball, the transition, the fluidity was really good. I am going to pick up on something, and I've said it before. Robertson needs to DM John Arne-Risa and really go and get some shooting.
He's never going to be good at shooting, mate.
No,
he's just not. He's not.
I don't know. Like I wasn't really a good crosser of the ball, but is the technique? I don't understand because
crossing's it's so different. No, it's crossing is.
You're leaning back for the cross, whereas your body's got to be over the ball for the shot. But come on, guys, man, the amount of space he finds himself in, that's all he's missing.
I know. He's got 36 assists. He's got more assists than Ashley Cole, right? But he couldn't hit a barn door with shooting. It's mental.
What game was it when he kind of had that Salah opportunity? Remember when the ball, it was like midfield against Man City, and he hit it, and it wasn't I can't remember what game it was. I think
Leipzig when he tried to lob the keeper.
He tries to lob the keeper. Yeah.
As soon as it came off his foot, I went, "Well, Robertson." Do you know?
That's like a measured shot, though. That's not like power. So see what I mean by that is if you watch, so I used to play in the wing, and I'm not saying I'm any of this level, but Andy Robertson is like very composed in his crosses, so like it's accurate. He always tries to put it in an area, and it's maybe not flashed across. It's like a good pace on the ball. Whereas Trent will sometimes smack a ball. So there's no coincidence that when Trent's on set pieces or he shoots, you can see it. There's power and there's accuracy. Where I think Robertson's power from
Robertson, though. Let's be honest.
But he's not like an amazing like Robertson's not technically a baller. Do you know what I mean? But he's an amazing left back. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like I think he's so good at being a left back. No, but I think like crossing, he's probably more accurate than Trent. I just think I agree with you, mate. Just go it's like Firmino. Just go and take an afternoon and get a keeper and just practice shooting. It's so bad.
Literally.
He finds himself in so many good positions. And it's the only
his
thing.
Movement,
Going very, very quickly, Kabak, we're gonna before I go to Dan, we're gonna have our own little section on Kabak. I don't think just brushing over.
Kabak corner. Here we go.
Let's there was the own goal calamity that luckily didn't happen, and like you say, the ball watching is shocking. I just think that for us to be champions and to have the quality of the defenders in which we had, knowing the situation and the dire need for what we needed at the time and when we got it, is ridiculous. We shouldn't even have this position. We shouldn't be in this position. And then to finish off, Firmino, I think was, and again, Darren, I'm going over to you, so come to my points and let me know what you thought. But I thought he was the best of the three, but of the front three, put himself about and was quite industrious. But his impetus in front of goal is really starting to kill me. Even that goal, it weren't even on target.
On target. Well, it was the bit of luck. It was the bit of luck, to be fair, he needed. I know it went down as an own goal, but he contributed massively. He gets the ball. He's the B4 players. Probably too good to be true. Takes a wicked deflection, and obviously he's going to claim the goal. But legitimately, I suppose it was an own goal. But I thought he showed great creativity. He was strong. He was a real nuisance for the Sheffield defence all evening. And I think last night he showed his play would be suited more if he dropped into a number 10 than he is a number 9. He's better off suited there because he's physical. He does so much off the ball. His awareness, his strength, his creativity. I think him being the lone striker up there, he's not great when the ball comes in. We've in the last couple of games we've intended to whip a lot of high balls into the box. He's not as good in the air. But last night, I mean, I suppose it was a good reaction from how poor he'd been. And in front of goal, I mean, he misses that chance in the first half. We were obviously all fuming and cursing, and I was getting messages at half time saying he should be out there. But he stuck with it, to be fair. His attitude, I have to say, and I don't say this about a lot of people, is phenomenal because he always makes himself available. He doesn't shy away. He's always up for team selection. He always comes out, plays with a smile, gives it his all. Although giving it his all of late hasn't been good enough. But I just think it's a change of role from really. He's not a number 9. And he would be more suited to the system because we talk about Bobby as the system. I think he'd be more influential and effective being a part of the system, being a number 10. But look, he got a goal last night. He contributed great. So I think you have to give credit where credit's due.
It's his decision making, Darren. I think it's his decision making sometimes. In that position, being Bobby, I'm like, you're gonna let it off to Curtis Jones, who's got an open goal. He doesn't. He takes a shot. He misses. I'm like, right. And then he has the other one, first off, and I'm like, mate, you're gonna put that through. And then he's then trying to. It's just the decision making, which I'm like,
yeah, the first chance is horrendous. I'm sorry, guys. A championship striker finishes that. He's got the full goal when he manages to hit Ramsdale. That's embarrassing. That's not good enough. A League One player scores that, so I'm not having it. That's not good enough. See, I agree with all your points, but no one's disputing Bobby Firmino's a good player, right? But he does this though. Spurs, good performance, right? His 5 bad games playing at number 9. He's not a number 9 anymore. And I get there's the debate that he excels in Salah, but there's a reason we've been playing different. And he's actually deeper than Jones at times in the game. So it can't continue.
Hugging the halfway line, and I don't like to see my number 9 doing that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. And I think to be fair, Bobby suffers from the fact that number 9 is not a small number in our team. We've had arguably some very iconic goal getters. Do you know what I mean? Can you hear me?
No, the voice was going really.
Oh, there's a bit of echo, guys.
Yeah, is it? I'm not sure. Might be myself.
No, you're fine now.
Right, yeah. I think we've had some really iconic goal getters. Do you know what I mean? The Suarez's, the Torreses, the Fowlers. It's we need that. We need that mode. And he's not doing it. Monts, what you saying about the game, man? Fire in, bro.
Do you know what? I feel like we saw at that game reasonably well. I personally still had. I watched that game thinking, yeah, we're doing all right. I'm loving the new shape. I'm loving the way that almost Mane's sort of coming in as a striker. The wing backs are almost supporting in the midfield and going forward. I'm thinking, all right, I'm loving this, but Chelsea are going to kill us. We're ironing board FC. We got no back. There's no back off there. I'm telling you. I tell you that because there was the first time over the top ball was beating us every time. They don't even have pacey man up top. Yeah. They don't have pacey man up top. I mean, McBurney is slow.
They did with Burke though. They did when they brought Burke on. That's why you've seen Fowler get done.
And he picked us out as well a few times with it.
Yeah, but Burke's got like 2 finishing, so he's not a threat. But
that's true, mate. 15 million. He was most expensive Scottish player at one point. Crazy.
What's himself about?
He does.
For 15 million, he should be better than that. But that's
literally.
I mean, they've got 24 million players that we sold them, and less, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we will go. Yeah,
daylight robbery.
But let me just say, guys, that I just feel like Adrian had me on skates for quite a lot of the game, and then he had the audacity to do kick-ups. Now, if that's him displaying confidence, fine, it's whatever. But I feel like we can't get too ahead of ourselves defensively, because I think offensively today, Ramsdale had a great game going forward, and I think Ramsdale had an exceptionally good game today. So, I think Salah puts that chance away on a good day. He puts I feel like Bobby was Bobby, but he got himself in the positions. But, going forward, I don't really have too many problems. Usually I do. I liked the role Thiago played today a little bit further forward, even though he was still doing the ball retention thing. When we did have the possession in the final third, I feel like he was getting himself in and around the box a little bit more, seeing a bit of the old Thiago. Wasn't prime Thiago.
Yeah, but he was getting there. Yeah, I would agree.
He was getting there. He edged himself back into it today. But I just think today, yesterday we're so queffable. We are queffable, man. It's the way we can get got at hurts. It hurts.
Let me pick on what you said, and I'm gonna shoot something over to Saif quickly, right? Picking up from what you said, and I think you're right. That ball over the top was killing us, and our back is still very, very shaky. Darren said something, and I went. He said very quickly that, listen, you know, when Fabinho's back, obviously we want him back in the midfield. Now, because picking up from what Monts has said, ideally, ordinarily, yes, come on, I'm still very much waiting for Fabinho and or Henderson, Thiago, whatever. I need that. But at the same time, we have got some craters to fill. And I don't think any of us were that. I mean, we kept a clean sheet. It's 2-0. But let's be honest, guys. We're all Liverpool fans and we're all here now. We were not very confident in that back line. And like I said just before we came on live, and Monts has pretty much alluded to, a better team with you know, more potent strikers are going to absolutely punish us. So with that said, I'm not so quick to see Fabinho. I need him back in the centre back. Like, I need him. I need him back there. And I want to know what you lot think about that. Saif, what's your thoughts on that?
Do you know
especially Thursday, man? Like,
yeah, no, you speak absolute sense here, because my heart wants to see Fabinho in midfield, but it's been wanting to see him there for a long time. But obviously, you've got to think of the larger picture. And if you've got someone like Fabinho coming back, and we've got the game against Chelsea, literally one mistake can be the game changer. And we know Fabinho is capable of not making that mistake. Whereas, unfortunately, as much as I've been protecting Kabak, he's very capable of that mistake. And even that Phillips, he did it against, I think, Leicester as well. And it's those one or two mistakes that are going to cost us the game. And we're a team right now whose confidence is literally made from icing paper. It will rip very easily. And it takes one little mistake from the back that could literally just change everything for us. That could be the difference between us going and winning 2-0 against Chelsea or us going and losing 3-0 because we've gone and conceded that goal. As much as I'd love to see Fabinho in midfield, and it would be so sick to see him in there with the way Jones is playing at the moment and having Fabinho behind him. And if Thiago and Fabinho can link up a little bit better, oh my God, I'm telling you, mad midfield, won't even have to worry about defence. But you can't risk that. You got to be playing with your brain a little bit. And I think Klopp's not the kind of manager to take stupid risks. And with the way things are at the moment, go a bit more with what you're comfortable with. Just don't concede too many goals and try to focus on scoring some. But at the moment, I don't know.
And like we've all said, moving forward, we were very good, and that was without having Fabinho or Henderson in the midfield. Do you know what I mean? We actually looked better going forward. Do you know what? That on and secure the back, then it would be. You know what I mean?
I feel like with Naby Keita coming back into the squad, he looked quite good when he came on. He wasn't taking many risks, playing many through balls. He tried one or two, but he didn't need to. We were 2-0 up, and he was just getting comfortable in the game and whatnot. And I like to see that, because I feel with him coming back into the squad, we don't need to concern ourselves with trying to squeeze Fabinho into midfield.
Yeah, you're right. Shout out Cannon LFC, who also kind of seconds that we should play Nat Phillips and Fabinho against Chelsea.
Big him up.
To be honest, like, we've been on quite a few recently, and I understand everybody wants Fabinho back, but I said from the very start of the season, there's not been one moment this season where Klopp has even thought about putting Fabinho back into defensive mid. I think he said at the start of the season that's his fourth choice. The other three are out, and that's his centre back. So I think as soon as Fabinho's fit, he goes right back into centre back. Guys, let's be honest, right? Sheffield United, in fairness to them, they're not just like a lob it long. They actually can. Some of them can play. So you got guys like Norwood when he came on last night. It was Norwood. Norwood's playing, and it was the smaller guy. Can't remember his name. But they're doing the first time cross. So basically what happens, it's a bit like a Hendo cross. You do that and either do a cross or a pass like that quickly. Now, if you're playing a higher line, because I understand Liverpool have got that integrated, so they're not going to change their training. So think of that what you will. But they're going to keep playing a high line. They're not going to stop it now, because you continue to do that. If you've got Kabak and Phillips, right, against Chelsea, don't you think about Chelsea strikers, just think about their wing forwards. They'll just target that. And if they get in one-on-one like McBurney did, I think they could crucify them. However, I think if you play Phillips and Fabinho, you can probably still play that way. Because the thing is, guys, I've been thinking about this this morning. What do you do if you don't play a high line against Chelsea? Everyone says, oh, that's fine. But what happens is they've got a Giroud, they've got Abraham, so then you're penned in. And then so the reason they play the high line is so they can continue to attack, and therefore it puts a percentage up if they're playing it. And it makes sense, but for me, he'll continue to play the high line. And I think, as I said, I don't think Fabinho will play at defensive mid again this season. And I know we'd all want that, but I can't see that happening. And as Saif said, Keita's coming back. Gini was brilliant yesterday as well. Thiago looks like he's getting a bit more, not confidence, but looks like he was better yesterday. But as I said, guys, it was Sheffield United. So I think playing Chelsea is a whole different kettle of fish, and it has to be Fabinho for me. And if it's Kabak and Phillips, guys, I'm worried. I actually think, no, that's not fair to Phillips, because Phillips got done one time yesterday, right? With Burke. But see, to be fair to Phillips, I think he's doing well. I think he looks better on the ball. And I think if he got the same amount of time that other people have been given chances, he's actually improved a lot in the short sample size of games he's had. Do you know what I mean?
And also, he's having to adapt, as new as he is, to it being Fabinho, or it being Henderson, or it being Kabak. Or do you know what I mean? And let's be honest, prior to the beginning of this season, we didn't think that, do you know what I mean? We didn't think that he was good enough, first of all. So to having to deal with that, sorry, that's my little one.
Sorry,
having to deal with that is yes, baby girl, leave me alone. Right, so Darren, I wanted to come to you. Obviously, Channing LFC has said Fabinho is kind of turning into an injury-prone player. Wanted to let you answer that, and your thoughts on what Conroy said in terms of, deploying him in the
centre back.
Centre back, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a good point what Channing makes, because wasn't the last season we were high flying. We'd only beaten City. Fabinho had scored. Fabinho went out injured for a couple of months. Then Henderson came into that DM role, and I thought it was phenomenal. He was really, really good. It actually proved to me how good. Obviously, Henderson gets a level of respect that we all don't see, and like he's so influential. But when he went into that DM role, he was just Fabinho-esque type. He was just mirrored what Fabinho was doing. He was brilliant. But Fabinho and Henderson in the last couple of seasons obviously have got their fair share of injuries. So I suppose like a lot of Liverpool players that have been injured in the last few seasons, they are injury prone, and it is what it is. I know it's high intense football at training 3 games a week. Look, a lot of muscle injuries, but to play that kind of hottest ticket in town football, that rock and roll stuff, it's going to have an impact on injuries, and muscle injuries for us has been a huge issue. It's a good point what the lads say about Fabinho going in at centre back, because we probably won't, and Conroy is touched on it there. He's probably right as well, that we won't see Fabinho in a DM role. We all want to see him back in midfield, but we also want to see a more secure and structured defence. And at the moment, we don't have that. I seen yesterday was 18 changes to centre back. Now, if you're making 18 changes to centre back, it obviously has a bad impact on the spine of the team, and there's no real spine in the team. Like, it's going to have an impact on centre midfield to the forward lads, because there's so many changes. It's hard to build up a relationship there. And probably in the last 2 or 3 seasons, we probably only had 7 or 8 changes at centre back. So we've had probably 3 times the amount so far this season, with 12 games to go, than we've had in the whole of the 3 last seasons. So that has been obviously a big factor in why we're not doing well and why we struggled at the best of times. But Fabinho, Fabinho as centre back is a really good show, because when he's in there, the centre back, he's just a wall for us. He's the next best thing for us to Matip, Gomez and Van Dijk. He's been really, really good at centre back. And I think if he goes in there, the only thing I'd say is if he goes in there and plays a consistent amount of games, you'd probably have to play Nat Phillips. But then where does that put Kabak? Because this is kind of, let's say, a trial period for Kabak as to where we're going to keep him or pay the 18 million in the summer. So I don't think we can afford to also go through 5, 6, whatever, 7 games of Kabak just coming on or playing small parts in. So there is a lot to ponder for Klopp. And when you go into more, if you analyse more of the specifics, there is a lot to say, well, we need to see Kabak in some way because he's on trial, but also we know Nat Phillips is being brilliant in there. He's been out the 7 or 8 starts he's been man the match 3 times. I think last night he was very, very good. You've seen him with the shaved head; he even looked more physical. So he was good, and he's a talker at the back as well. Do you know what I mean? Which I like, and he's very composed at the best of times, and he's a no nonsense type of centre back. As a centre back, you want someone that's going to do the basics right and pass the ball when you need to, go to Rose Ed when you need to, give the long ball when you need to, don't mess around. And that's what Phillips has been really good at. I suppose I wouldn't say a controversial topic because it's a no-brainer playing Fabinho centre back with Phillips on Thursday night. But the question is, will that happen? And if it doesn't happen, obviously we'll probably be a bit more pessimistic going into the game. But if it did happen where Fabinho come into midfield and Phillips or Kabak played centre back and they played great and we beat Chelsea, like it's a chance. You know, it might be a different conversation. So it's.
I'm gonna go quickly. I mean,
I would with the reassurance and with the big game there is, and obviously Chelsea now in 8 games have been unbeaten under Tuchel. They have been getting goals as well. I would go with the tried and trusted Fabinho and Phillips as centre back. Me personally, and I think last night that midfield gave me some more reassurance. The midfield trio were really good, but I know it's Chelsea. We're going again at home, somewhere where we've a bit of a psychological factor in the last few games where we haven't scored goals. We've been very passive. And going into this game, normally at home, you think, okay, it's against Chelsea, we have a good record. We're at Anfield, the Anfield factor. But that's all kind of forgotten now, isn't it, since Burnley beat us at home and then the record. So I would go with Fabinho and Phillips on Thursday night. But it wouldn't also surprise me if there was changes. And I think Jota will come back in, Fabinho starts. But let's see what happens. But yet, I think you would have to go with Fabinho, absolutely. It just gives us that bit more reassurance in a big game.
I'm gonna go Fabinho and Phillips. I'm gonna assume everyone else is gonna go Fabinho and Phillips.
Yeah, but I don't think that will happen though. I think he'll play it back in Phillips.
That's what I was just about to say.
And do you think he'll play Kabak because it's a trial period, Conroy?
No, just because he's bought him in and he'll stick by a player. He's done that in the past. Like, he's done it with other players, and it's fair enough. But like, the only thing I'd say to Monts is kind of on the same train as me with it is like people were scapegoating Nat Phillips at one point, which is absolutely baffling because the guy's never been signed to be a Liverpool centre half. He's came in to do a cover job, and now that's 2 games now. Because even Everton, he got spun by Richarlison, but a lot of good centre backs have got spun by Richarlison. That wasn't it does happen, right?
Well, he was going to America a couple of weeks ago, wasn't he? Or months ago to do a scholarship. So,
that's the thing with Nat is like, see if you just came down and you don't know anything about Liverpool and you just watch both of them, right? That's I'd say including Nat's previous performances with other centre backs, I think Nat is developed more and looks more secure, right? Now, if you're looking at it just as an analyst and no with any prejudgments, right? Is that not crazy that person who's basically was going to get a scholarship looks more secure? Even though I know there's a bit of age difference, but remember, guys, Kabak's not being signed to be a young player. He's signed to come into that team. And it's like, people keep telling me age is a point and you could have the Fofana argument, but why do you not I've been on this train a while about the Kelleher. I always get his name wrong.
Yeah, so I still don't know how to get it.
Near that, mate. I end up saying collect a car. Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
Collect a car.
You're in the parking lot, collect a car. But
and for that to break down merely on timing and lack of them having time.
That's all it was, mate. Because they're willing to sell him, maybe they just didn't have time for a replacement. That's the things that makes fans get annoyed with FSG, because that's not a big thing to make that. You just have to. Because the reason they didn't do it is because they tried to not buy anybody. They're going to probably sign Davis to keep the fans happy and then sell him in the summer for a profit. But stuff like that is what annoys fans, because a couple of weeks earlier you sign him and you can't. Hindsight's amazing. He might have been terrible, but for me he looks like a more established centre back who's ready to come in. So I don't think you can use the age excuse, because that's FSG. I'm not having a go at Kabak, but that's the person they signed to do the job. So this is his 5th games this against Chelsea, and I'll be honest, guys, so far I've not been impressed. The ball watching worries me.
I don't think anyone here is convinced. I'm not convinced. The only thing is, like you said, I agree. I think whoever it was, I'm not just going to say it on Kabak, because I think whoever it was, FSG should have known the impetus that was going to be put on them at the time and when you were getting them. Do you know what I mean? Because I look at Kabak and a part of me is like, bro, he's under more pressure than, say, a Van Dijk was when he came in January, because of, do you know what I mean, what has preceded him. But then I then look at it and say, that's not an excuse. You would have known that, and you should have got someone who's good enough to deal with that.
It's not necessarily Kabak's fault. Do you know, I'm saying that. I'm not really about him, but they've signed him to be that person. So it's hard to argue with that.
I make Werner much as a goal scorer, but Werner's movement scares me.
Kill him. It's gonna kill.
You know what I mean?
Oh my days.
him.
No, bro. Let me just say that first of all, until Kabak puts in a bad boy performance, I'm calling him no back instead of Kabak. That's what it's gonna be for me.
He was decent. He was
He's gonna
decent
be
against
no back.
Leipzig, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's
Decent
gonna
against
be
Leipzig.
no
That was
back
it.
and then he can go back to being Kabak when he puts in a good performance. Because, like Conroy said, I'm not convinced. And yeah, we can do the whole. He's 20. He's coming from a relegated side. Who told you to buy him?
This is what I'm
Who
saying.
told FSG to buy him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these men are on big boy salaries. I'm not hearing. Oh, I mean, deal with the pressure. No, I'm not trying to hear it. You signed for LFC. You see this badge? You knew what you was getting into.
Tell him again, man.
You knew what you was getting into.
But see if they'd signed him in the summer, guys. So say like in the summer they'd signed him as like the fourth choice, right? Then I'd be like, do you know what?
Honestly.
You can't see what's happening. But that signing was bought in. It's not to be a Van Dijk, but it's to be like Nat Phillips, right? Is getting a lot of credit right now because he's just doing things simple. He's not trying, but he can watch a ball. That's basics for a centre half. See, Monts was saying, see the mistake against Leicester, that stuff, right? See the mistakes against Everton. I can handle mistakes because that's like a moment in a game. But it's the ones that don't lead to goals where he's misjudging balls. That's what worries me because It's like that's an issue. Everyone can have errors, but like that's like.
It's the crucial ones that are gonna. I feel
me.
like. And
listen, we could spend a good hour, and I've only got a couple of minutes for an hour. So listen, guys, again, please subscribe, like, and comment. Channel LFC. We kind of need Kabak so we can handle Giroud for jumping. I don't even think he's amazing in the air. If I'm honest with you, I think Nat Phillips is way better than him. And very quickly, I've got two more players that I need to get onto. And so. With 73% passing, with 65 out of 89 passes being first in the game, with 3 chances created, again being first in the game, with 103 touches, again being first in the game, with 3 shots on target being second in the game, 2 out of 2 tackles being second in the game, with 2 interceptions being first for us, for Liverpool, and wasn't dribbled fast. Also adding the clean sheet, is our boy Trent back? What we said?
Well, he seemed, I'll jump in there, lad. Sorry, he seemed to be back when we played Tottenham and West Ham, and we got wins there. I thought he was very good in them games, and then he went back then to just being very inconsistent and over analysing games and defensively caught out and not giving the first time ball and some of the balls, especially corners he'd taken, were just not good enough. But all round, I thought a lot of the players in them games where we were losing were poor, so it wasn't just Trent. But it was safe to say last night he had a really good performance and it was a real Trent-esque type of display. First time ball, very snappy in play, better at tackling, better at getting back and going forward when he needed to. And he was very creative. And you seen that chance where he turned in and Ramsdale pulls off a great save. It was a great chance where he could have had a goal. So, yeah, overall I was pleased last night with Trent. As I said, a very Trent-esque performance. But we just need consistency now from all of them, and Trent included in that.
Do you think Trent is also suffering from our centre-back issues? Do you think his consistency may be a victim?
Henderson more than anything else. I think Henderson helps Trent a lot. People, he's even said that himself. He wouldn't be where he was, and I agree because Henderson. I said this before, but you just got a guy from Sunderland screaming at you for a full game. It does make you a better player, as Thiago's found out. I think that's the main thing with Trent. I think like Trent's he's still 22. He's not great defensively. Let's not beat around the bush. But I'll be honest, guys. I don't think Trent's actually been even close to our worst player in the last couple of games, even when we've lost games. I think he's still tried to make things happen. He's gave the ball away, but that's his game. He'll try stuff that's not on. He's not been great, but I think there's been players who've actually done a lot less, maybe not hiding, but Trent never really hides. He's always trying. See, like the shot against Ramsdale, I've seen him try that for the last 5 games. Like he tries stuff like that all the time. I just think he looked more, not even confident. I don't think it's confident. I just think because the team was linking up better, you could tell. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's like it might be to the different shape with Robbo coming in, and then Trent had more as well. A bit of as you said earlier, mate, with the fluidity made it work. But to be honest, mate, I don't think he's been the worst. He's not been great this season, but I think Hendo's a big miss for Trent because Hendo really covers him a lot. People forget that.
And I think
And obviously Van Dijk as well in the back, because he would have been the
about-
one, Adam. Yeah.
just about
I
to
was
say-
actually blaming, I don't know if any of you noticed there, a couple of games this season when Trent's coming out of the tunnel, he's sipping on the Red Bull, because obviously he's big sponsorship with them. When he had a few bad games, he probably was doing this in every game. I was blaming the Red Bull, saying just stop that. But then last night I seen him coming out, sipping it, leaves it aside, and he really did get wings, didn't he, from that Red Bull last night?
That's cash in his pocket, though, isn't it? If he's on the wages it showed us, I'd be doing the Red Bull as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I think Trent just suffered from a bit of complacency. I think when you've got the man mountain that is Van Dijk in the centre, and then on top of that, then you've got Alisson. I just think sometimes you're just like, especially when you're like, you know what, he's always looking for the offensive outlet pass. He's like, yeah, go on, you know
He's
what.
always going for the pass. He gets lazy with that as well, because he can play that pass.
Get the crossing, because I know that Van Dijk will probably get it, and then I'll make myself a passing option. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, and now when we don't have that, it's hard to sometimes get your head out of that.
He has to dribble a lot more. He has to dribble a lot more as well.
Because his dribbling is better than when it's better on the eye than you really think. He can actually beat players when he wants to, because he is so nonchalant in the way he plays, and he is reliant on his technique. When he goes to fake a cross or a shot, defenders fall for it because he's so blasé with it. Do you know what I mean? He's so laid back. What I would say is that I do feel like I personally was on Trent. If anyone's seen any of my previous videos, I've been on Trent. I've been quite hard on him. But what I would say,
from you, boy.
Yeah, literally that. But what I would say is that when I actually sat back and thought about it, you see, when we went through our little drought where we weren't scoring goals, you know, we was creating literally half chances. I think Mo Salah would get in once a game, and we wouldn't see a clear-cut chance for the rest of the game. If you look at our chance against Leicester, where the ball's actually come from Trent's pass, you know, just down the line and clipped over the defender. And there's another one where he plays it inside the defender. We also get another opportunity early in the game at Burnley, I believe, where Salah skies it really, really early.
Is that Brighton? I think that's Brighton.
Was it Brighton? It might be Brighton, yeah.
Maybe 2 games he missed it. Probably.
Yeah, and then there's 3, and when I look at that, those are the 3 clearest opportunities we had in those 3 games that we didn't score any goals. But they all came from Trent. They didn't come from anywhere else. Not Thiago, who's probably one of the best players in the league. Do you know what I mean? They came from.
No, I agree, mate.
Trent,
I agree.
and him being at his absolute best.
I just feel like sometimes there's an over-reliance. Do you know what I mean? And then it just gets a bit, you know. But listen, I've got to quickly. I'm going to lose some of you very quickly, and there's no way that I'm ending this stream. Not a chance. And I've got a question for Conroy as well, so I'm just trying to leave some time. No chance we're ending this stream without talking about Curtis.
CJ, baby. CJ.
CJ.
This guy.
And it's funny because it links up, because it's actually at One Touch TV. He's my guy. He's a content producer for Arsenal, and we go back and forth. Obviously, you know, they've got their little baby Saka that they love, and I'm like, listen, no, you know, he's I'm not even gonna say that Saka's not bits. He is Foden, but I just try and say that he is definitely part of this new crop. We have one that can sit down and we can put him in and say, listen, he's part of this class of young English. And I've also said in defense that as good as Saka is, Saka's a victim of Arsenal being dead. Do you know what I mean? Like, aggression has come very, very far. Dead. Whereas, like, when you look, you've got Thiago, he's 9 out of 10 championship winning. He's different gravy, and Curtis is winning man of the matches. Do you know what I mean? Continuously. Listen, Curtis is just the one. I wanted to end this by making sure I gave him enough.
Big up One Touch TV though, man. Big up One Touch TV.
Yeah, for real. And like I said, I'm gonna quickly end with that question for you, Conroy. But let's go, man. What's your thoughts on Curtis's performance yesterday?
Mate, I think Curtis was sick. Like, do you know what? I feel throughout this whole period where we've been struggling, from December through to Jan, now into February as well, we've really been struggling, and there's only been a few players that every single game they come on, they're still giving 110%. Like, to be honest, you look at Mane, Salah, Firmino, these are the players you expect to stand up in these games, but they've just been dropping off a little bit. They're being sucked in by the fact that we're having a bad run. Curtis, on the other hand, had a few bad moments. Everyone jumped on his back. He did not let that mess his mojo up or nothing. He carried on going, carried on fighting, and he deserves the goal he got yesterday. And everyone's singing his praises right now. And those same people were jumping on his back a couple of weeks ago when he made that mistake against, I think, he made one against United. He made another mistake in the game after and whatnot. And I think Klopp trusts him, and he's learning to trust himself. He's a creative player. He's the player that makes mistakes because he's trying different things. And he showed so much creativity yesterday, picking up the ball, sometimes passing it very quickly, sometimes moving with the ball, sometimes looking for the long pass. And I feel like we're missing a player like that so much. And he stepped up to that plate yesterday. And listen, if he's this good now, I can't wait to see what he's going to be like in 2-3 years' time if our team carries on developing the way it does.
Future captain. Oh.
Yeah, I can see that happening for real. Like, I can actually see that happening.
And Darren, what was your thoughts on young Curtis?
He was exceptional, as I said, very Gerrard-esque type of performance. Don't want to be hyping him up too much because he's obviously only turned 20. But for a 20-year-old to be in this current Liverpool team, that sometimes, because this season especially, look, it's been backs against the walls, there's been a bit of inconsistency. We forget how good this Liverpool team is. It was only this time last year we were saying we were the best team in the world, and rightly so because we were. And when we obviously signed Thiago in the summer, Gini stayed, Keita instead, we didn't bail off any midfielder. Shaqiri stayed, Ox stayed, where there was obviously speculation that Gini, Ox, Shaqiri could possibly leave. I actually felt a little bit of doubt that Curtis mightn't get the game time that's needed. And for such a talent and a potential that he is, and he's been with Liverpool all his life, it might be a bad one on him. But I mean, by God, he's come out and shown us how good he is. He's been exceptional, and he's a guaranteed starter now. He has to be in midfield because, as I said, when you look at all those players, what they've won, the talent, how proven they are. He, like what Conroy was saying, you've Jordan Henderson, a lad from Sunderland, shouting at people. It's a bit like Curtis Jones. He's come in, stamped his authority, just got on with what he had to do, had a right good go at it, showed the attitude, the discipline, expressed the character that he has, and he's now, look, he's reaping the rewards. And he's, as I said, he's a regular starter for us and one definitely for the future. But at 20 years of age to have done what he's done already in his career is exceptional. And I believe him and Jurgen recently had a video chat and had a couple of chats in the training ground about him just being that bit more clinical, making them more forward runs. And we seen last night that he done a lot of that. And I mean, big credit to him, to CJ. He deserves all the credit he's getting at the moment.
Definitely. And so very quickly before we go, Conroy, this one's for you, man. Okay, so with the changes to how you played, not so much the personnel, are you happy with that going forward or still freshening things up? What you thinking?
Well, cheers to the question, One Touch. What I would say is, as much as we're kind of gassed from yesterday and the movement and the kind of change of formation as we're attacking and then changing we're defending, happy with that. And he's not going to change that at the end of the day. He's going to keep the free. And he can't really, after Gini and Jones yesterday and Thiago, you're not going to drop any of those free. What I would say, though, is I don't think this will happen, but I actually agree with you in the sense as I've been saying that this is what happens with Firmino. He'll have a good performance like this, and then he'll have 3 bad games, and then we'll just go into the cycle again. You know, because he's one of Klopp's favourites, and I understand he's got that respect. But for me, as soon as Jota's able, he has to come into the team. And I don't see that happening, guys, unfortunately, because he's done it before against Man City. We played a 4-2-3-1. So we could work to suit Bobby. That didn't really work. He's not going to drop Bobby after that, I can guarantee. So then where does Jota come in? Could maybe argue Mane gets dropped for that? Possibly. But I think Jota has to come in. Yeah, no, it's a fair point, mate. I actually thought, for me, firstly, before that game, I would have dropped Firmino and played Jota there. But on basis of performance, I can't be hypocritical. I would say Mane's probably been, even though Firmino's not been great, but he was more effective yesterday.
I meant Mane needs to be dropped.
I'd agree. I'd say Mane, but I would not hide on the fact that Firmino has been poor as well. And this is what happened. He'll be poor for the next couple of games, and then he'll have a good performance, and it just keeps happening. But for me, Jota has to start. Jota has been the most impressive player when he's played. He's actually shown the front three up quite a lot this season because he's had less minutes to perform and rescued a lot of games. So when he's fully fit, if you say he doesn't start, then I go back to, this is the thing with Klopp. Sometimes there's too many favourites, and it's like, it doesn't matter if they have a 0 out of 10, they start the next game. And that's not on sometimes. That can't happen in a team. That's not healthy for a team. So I think Jota, to One Touch, I think Jota has to start against Chelsea if he's available, obviously if he's not ill.
No, definitely. No, I think I agree, man. Listen, guys, I've got to let Conroy go, man, because I promised that I'd let him go for one.
Well, we can keep going if you want for a bit, mate. It's all right, honestly.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm enjoying myself, and it was only...
Okay, I'll work a wee bit later. It's fine. No hassle at all.
All right, brilliant. There was a quick comment saying Curtis Jones for the England squad. I think it was Channing LFC. I don't know about you lot, but I'm very selfish. And I've seen what the England squad has done to like Saka, and you know what I mean. And with our squad at the moment, it's been
Gomez.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I consider myself.
Chest.
We're Liverpool fans, man. We're not really. Do you know what I mean? Like, England is cool, but I'd rather just keep him here for now. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a benefit of him joining the national team, especially going to the Euros and whatnot, in the sense that it develops him as a player. Like, I feel like we saw it. Right. Obviously, I was very young back then, but what it did to Gerrard's career was a massive thing. Like Gerrard being part of the national team, and it makes him it changes people's perception on him as a player that's still developing to a player that's sick. Like, he's good. Like, he's playing for our national team. And he's making Liverpool's first team. And on top of that, he's winning man of the matches and whatnot. And it kind of shows off to the rest of the world what we've got, like, in our locker sort of thing. Obviously, there's a massive, like, downside to it. Like, what they did to Gomez, for example, and that's going to affect us badly. And God forbid something happens like that to Curtis, especially where he's at this point in his career, could have such a bad impact. So
it's risk-reward kind of thing, man.
One of them situations. But I think, for us, yeah, like for me, Liverpool always comes first, yeah. And it's a matter of, I'd rather he just stays healthy for Liverpool. I think even if he gets called up to the England squad, I don't think he's going to be playing week in, week out, like every single game, every 90 minutes or whatever. So I'm not too fast, but I think the focus for him is like, just make sure you're fit for Liverpool, innit?
No, I agree. I agree. What are you thinking about that one?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I do feel like, you know, it will give him that much more credibility, you know, getting into the England squad, especially for the Euros. But you better be warming that bench, man. You take the credibility. You can come off 5 minutes if you want.
It's precious to us,
credibility.
Man.
I'm you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's too much quality in the England midfield anyway for him to play at this moment in time. However, you know, I want him to develop under our wings for now. I'd love to see, I would love to see him in the England shirt, but I'll stick with what I'm saying. I think there's, you know, when you have the Grealishes, the Madisons, the Mounts, and you know those guys there, I'll let them do what they want to do. Because Gareth Southgate, I know he loves the young boys, so you know it's not actually
and
that far out.
He's in the under 21 anyway, so
yeah. So
you know, doesn't it gas you up so much? Yeah, like you're talking about all these players in England's midfield. Yeah,
it doesn't. It doesn't, Saif. It doesn't gas you up at all. Scotland.
No,
we got some serious talent coming through, but that's for another day, though.
Yeah, no, we do, definitely. All right, so quickly moving forward to this Chelsea game, right? Can we? What's our thoughts? I mean, it's going to be.
While it lasted, isn't it?
Get out of here, man! Get out of here, man! At least have an Irish accent if you're going to talk that nonsense, man. Nah, I'm all jokes aside. Is it as easy as that? Do we think like, listen, you know, it's a totally different game and we're going to get our asses handed to us, or what? You know, I did want to pick up on a lot of what Conroy is saying, and a lot of in terms of Klopp's favourites, I think that needs to change. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be more performance-based. It needs to be more on the adversary that we're facing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's the case. And so that's why I'm putting this question out there, you know, in terms of the team and in terms of the performance. What do you think has this win now just kind of reaffirmed things for Klopp? Like, right, yeah, we're good. Don't worry. Let's just go. You know what I mean?
I don't think it has. It's no coincidence that Jota was out for 11 or 12 weeks and we struggled, because we'd no one keeping the front three on their toes. We'd no one being stiff, staring competition for them, which is, look, any player in world football, they need competition. It was something that when Jose came into Chelsea in the 04-05 season, he was great at. He did a lot of competition, like for like players. And Liverpool need a little bit more of that. I think Jota was brilliant. He's coming on. He was assist. He was explosive, very powerful, a knife for goal. But above anything and all of everything else, he was clinical. He got the goals, and that was the best outcome for someone that's playing as an attacker, whether attacker, midfielder or up front. It's all about what you can contribute to, and he contributed to us massively. He's been a huge loss for us all. I think we can all put our hand up and say he has been. We've missed him terribly, because the drop off of the front three when you bring in Origi or you bring in Shaqiri. It is massive, to be fair. And they just weren't given a chance, were they? Like, we've been going with the same system, the same front three since Jota has been out. We haven't really changed that enough, so we didn't even give time to see if anybody else could express themselves better. But Jota comes back in, I think. Whether he starts straight away, I don't think so, because we know Jurgen's not just going to throw him straight in. But we've seen when he's come on in games so far, Brighton away, it was Atlanta, it was other games, I can't think off the top of my head, that he did come on and you didn't expect him to do a lot in it. He West Ham at home, Midtjylland, he just comes on and scores. So big up to him, and hopefully he comes back the player that he was when he went off injured.
Okay. Keita, would you say the same for Keita? Would you say that he's a start for Chelsea? Would you say, Mon?
No.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I'll go now. You go. We'll go after.
No, you go, Monts. I think. I just think it'd be this short and sweet. I just think it'd be the same midfield that played last night. I think it has to be that plays against Chelsea. But
do you know why I say yeah? Because usually, as I said, as a footballer myself, like I feel like at times I can see when someone comes back, you can tell when they're off it or when they're not quite there. But when I saw Keita come on, I paid very close attention to Keita when he come on, and he's even changed the boots. He's not got the flashy Adidas things no more. He ain't got the flashy Adidas things. He's got the bog standard Adidas Ilkay Gunda ones.
Going back to base, yeah.
Yeah, he's got the Ilkay Gunda ones. Yeah, you see when Gundogan changed to them black and them orange and black boots. You see the goal return. I'm not saying Keita's gonna go get 10 goals in 11 games. I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm just saying. Ignore the boot statement. I'm just saying, like, in terms of his performance, he come on, his touch was good. He was having a little step over here and there, going back.
No, I agree, man.
He was passing backwards a few times, but not because, I'm gonna pass back because I don't know what to do. He's passing back because, you know what, boys, we're gonna keep the ball. We're gonna see the game out. I'm gonna play with authority. I just felt like there was a confidence, there was a swagger to his game. Even though, he made a few forward runs, he's not the quickest player, but, he's got the twinkle toes. For me, I just felt like he slotted so well into that. I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to conduct this game. No one's going to touch me on the ball. Keita's not getting dispossessed. We know this. It's more about whether he can get about, whether he can put himself about. And I feel like if he can put himself about, no one's getting the ball of Keita. Do you know what I mean? I felt like however they've, kept him out for, whatever they've done in terms of his rehabilitation, I feel like they've done a great job. Just going off that last, 10, 15 minutes that I saw.
Touch wood now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what you think.
Right here, right now.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be that guy. I'm sorry. I'm going to be that guy and say I'd like him to start. I feel like Gini was really good. And I feel like Thiago can have a rest, man. I feel like, I said, Thiago come on at halftime and bossed up Chelsea. Bring Thiago on, because maybe he might just be that guy. He might be the different gravy if things aren't going good, because we don't have any trump cards right now. I love Drift, but Origi's not a trump card right now. He starts or he doesn't play. So in that sense,
run it for 3 minutes.
Yeah, if you want to give us a trump card, because let's be honest, I don't want Mane to start, but he's gonna have to start. So there's no one coming off the bench where you can go, yeah, he's gonna do a thing. So in that sense, leave out Thiago for me. Start Keita. If Keita's not playing, bring on Thiago, and that's our trump card. Because when these men concede first, when Liverpool concede, we fold. We fold. Do you know
I don't know about you, but I don't know. I'm just putting it out there, but I feel like there's a bit of a connection between Mane and Keita. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like you get the best of Mane with Keita there, because it's something new and just I don't know. I felt like there was a little bit of a peppiness step when Keita came on. I personally would agree with you once. I liked what I saw. I liked the kind of, we need a box to box. We need a box to box.
Literally.
And do you know what I mean? And actually drive at someone. And so I would and because Gini's not that.
Gini can do it, but do you know what it is? He dwells on. I don't know if you saw it, but the man them are making forward runs, and Gini was taking too long to play the pass. Did you guys notice that? He was taking too many touches.
That is, I've said this in previous streams. You are hard pressed to find someone who can take the ball, who can hold the ball off better than Genie. But I think Genie kind of relies on that too much. Do you know what I mean? When the outlay pass is there, he's still doing hold up. And
yeah, he's still
but his
every
ball,
time.
But we feel very safe. Do you know what I mean? The ball is very safe with Genie. Genie don't turn the ball over a lot. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's goes for. So to have someone like Cater who can have an outlet, give it to Cater and let Cater do what he's. Do you know what I mean? And
It's
be
not
a little.
like Genie can't do it though, because if you had a Holland shot on,
Conroy, what would you say? Would you? I mean, we're very divided. We've got me and Monts saying Cater to start, and then we've got Darren saying no.
I think the thing is, like, the point Cater is fair enough, but
sorry,
for me,
I've got. Let me just get Saif back in. Go ahead though.
big up
I
Channing.
think to be honest, guys, I think it's I think I'd say that last week a lot of people were asking for Genie to be dropped, and I just think he trusts him. And I know Monts is a fair point with Keita. I think for Chelsea though, I can't see him chucking Keita in against Chelsea to start. He might do, fair enough. I'm just thinking about this is Keita's last chance. Let's not beat around the bush, guys. This is it. If he doesn't do it, he's getting sold. If he gets injured again, he's getting sold. So I think they're maybe going to do this properly, not put him back in too early, because at least then they can say they've done it right. So for me, I think it'll be Genie who starts. I think, to be honest, yesterday I know it was Sheffield United, but I thought Genie was immaculate. I thought he played really well. So I think it'll just be the same middle three, to be honest, guys. I can't see any changes. The Keita point's fair enough, but 15 minutes when you're 2-0 up against Sheffield United, I don't think it's the best sample size.
Yeah, all right.
No. I'm saying because
Conroy says it as it is.
No. I mean, see, Keita, I get annoyed with Keita because people forget 60 million. He was meant to change things for us, and he's not. So I'm a bit more annoyed and frustrated with. It's not really his fault. More frustrated because he's doing stuff that he should be doing. Because he's meant to be that guy. It's like 100 million on the bench yesterday, and people say we haven't got depth for a different reason, but there's 100 million on that bench with Ox and Keita. So that I'm a bit more frustrated with Keita, and I just think see if he does come good, great. But I'll be honest, guys, if he gets injured again, cut your losses, because guy costs 60 million. That we could sell that and use that money for someone else. And I think people will still buy Keita.
FSG, they'll keep it. Get who?
Months.
But Keita's playing like a Wijnaldum now. Keita's not meant to be a Wijnaldum. Remember that. Keita's meant to be. So it's like, what are we doing?
But we're not in that dressing room, and it's not within the realms of possibility that Klopp has asked that of him.
Of Keita,
No, I agree.
So it's difficult. I think the only thing that stops us from really discussing anything is it's hard to know what you're doing if you're. Again, I go back to this because it's one of the best things I've heard this year. The best ability right now is availability. You know what I mean? And if you're not available, then it doesn't matter, regardless of what you're being told to do or what you can do. It's surplus to requirements. So you're right. We just need him fit. We need him to show what he can do, regardless of anything, and then we can assess it. Because I think him and or Ox have to be makeshifts this summer.
Just annoys me, doesn't it? Because you see him do I remember watching him against Bournemouth and it's Brighton, and he just does stuff that's superb. I remember that goal he scored against Brighton, the 1-2 with Salah, and he lobs the keeper, and I'm like,
he's got it.
So frustrating.
He did score a bang against Chelsea, though.
I think our win percentage with him in the team, as little as it may be, is actually better. Do you know what I mean? There is actual proof that we play better with him, which is more annoying. Monts, do you think it's come from one touch again? Do you think Tuchel's Chelsea is that scary though? Bar the Atletico game, has the team really scared you? And apparently Jota from the bench and bench Firmino for a week.
Big up One Touch TV first of all for the question. Do you know what? It's not like whether Chelsea have scared me. They don't scare me. It's just that we're jumping and screaming after beating Sheffield. So there's gonna be a step up. So it's not like they scare me. It's that there's gonna be a clear shift in quality, and the fact that, don't get me wrong, Chelsea don't really score that much goals. Fair enough, they haven't been leaking. I think they've leaked 1 goal since he's come in. But these man, touching wood there, they don't really score that much in it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And slap us for one.
and they're not like us where they're shaky. They're a lot more secure at the back. I still feel like Chilwell can get got at. And I feel like Reece James can get got at, and Aspie as well. But you know, as a unit, they do look very, very secure. And Tuchel's done a thing where he's kind of mirroring a little bit in between Klopp and Pep, where he's starting to control the game. And you know, the wing backs are nice and high, and you know, he's got the midfielders coming in as almost tens at times. You know, joining the attack. I feel like we haven't really come up against that yet, apart from City, realistically, because even the big boys sit against. Unless you're City, you come against us. It doesn't matter what form. We could be playing great. We could be playing bad. You come to play Liverpool to play a low block, and don't look me in the eyes and tell me otherwise. Do you know what I'm saying? You come to play a low block against Liverpool, apart from Pep. I don't feel like Tuchel's going to come and play a low block against us. This is why I am a little bit scared in terms of how are we gonna combat that with everything that we're dealing with at the moment. So no, I wouldn't say we're scared. It's just a change, and will we be able to adapt? I'm not quite sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go to each of us predicted lineup very quickly, starting with you, Saif. What would your predicted lineup for Chelsea be? Before you do that, big up everyone in the comments. Channing LFC said, "Say, can you do a preview with Matisse?" I actually have hollered at him, so if you know him, holler at him and tell him to get back at him. Yeah. So let's go into how, and this will be nice to see how we all see the teams panning out. So Saif.
So I think we do need to change things up for this game for one big reason. We saw against Man United, Chelsea under their new manager are very capable of just demobilising the game. And I reckon if we don't change things up, it's just going to be the most boring game of football we're ever going to see, because they're not going to attack. They're going to try to slow the game down. And we just can't seem to speed the game up at the moment. I think bar Sheffield, it's just going to be so difficult. So we're going to need some big changes. So I think at the back, we're kind of stuck for options. If Fabinho is back, we're going to go Fabinho and Kabak, knowing Klopp. And then on the wings, we'll have obviously Trent and Robbo. Jeez, I forgot his name for a sec. Robbo. I think in midfield, I don't think we'll start with Keita. I think Keita will make a better impact coming on at halftime. So I think we'll probably go with Gini, Curtis, and Thiago. And then up front, I think we're just going to go normal Mane, Firmino, and Salah. If Keita does come on at halftime, I think it'll be very good, simply because in games we've become very lethargic as the game goes on. Like, we try very hard in the first 10, 15 minutes, and then we just stop running out of ideas, and then everyone slows down. And I think that is going to happen against Chelsea, without a doubt. But as soon as it's a halftime or not too late in the game, it will be a nice change, a nice impact. And he's got an infectious style of football where it affects the people around him.
Great, nice. I'll go to you, Darren. What's your?
I would imagine that it's only going to be the only change in this game would be Fabinho coming in for Kabak as centre half. Jota is back. He's had 3 months off. Is he going to come in and start this game? He picked up an illness there as well. It was Saturday night. So is he going to be 100% to come into a game at this high intensity? I remember Chelsea, since Tuchel has come in, have been defensively very good. They've been strong. I would imagine the same team as yesterday, with the 2 front full backs of Trent and Robbo, Phillips, Fabinho.
So you think it's Fabinho for Kabak?
Yeah. I think that's the only change. I think assessing everything and looking at the bigger picture, and then Gini, Jones, Thiago, Salah, Firmino, Mane in up top. The only thing I will say is we're going in Thursday, Sunday, and Wednesday. We've 3 games now in 6 days, so that's 3 games in less than a week. And you would say they're all must wins. Well, probably not Leipzig, because we don't need to win. We can still go through. Like, we can get a draw there. But we've 3 big games at home: Chelsea, Fulham. They're must-win games, you'd say, with the position now we're in, with West Ham and Leicester dropping points the weekend. So we might see more changes than what we're predicting at the moment. We have to wait and see how this week goes as well. Look, touch wood, we can't get any more injuries on that end of things. We've had enough all season now to do us the end of the season. I just hope as the latter end of the season goes now, we start picking up points. We put ourselves in a good position, because I think if we beat Chelsea now Thursday, we go into top 4, don't we? Because West Ham don't play till Monday against Wolves. So there's a lot of tough games coming up for Chelsea, West Ham as well there, Leicester. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Do you know what's happened with Kelleher? No chance.
No, I didn't hear that. No, the Irish Iker Casillas. There's no update on him other than his injury.
To be honest,
Yeah,
I was a bit baiting it. I just went to the Irish, like, yeah, what's going on?
yeah. I think he's expected back Thursday night. I think it's only a minor injury, but again, we've had a lot of them where players are missing games. But I believe Alisson will be back on Thursday, so that'd be great to have him back between the sticks and hopefully a clean sheet as well. Be nice, and 3 points.
Don't you guys think it's crazy how we had Alisson for like, you know, a nice run of losses, and then the minute Adrian comes in, we get a cleanie.
Yeah,
That's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it's mad stuff.
That's-
'cause
Wow.
Adrian's got
It's just crazy. It's just
Adrian's got one of
weird.
the best records. Adrian's got the best win record.
He's got
hasn't
a
he?
brilliant
Yeah.
Lost a few
record. He's
games.
actually got a crazy record.
Yeah, but he's also been slapped 7 past, so let's just allow that in it. Conroy.
Yeah.
My teammate, I think predicted.
Give me both, man.
I think what predicted will happen. I think it will just be.
Predicted's not going to be too long. Let's be honest, it's the same team. Isn't it?
No, it'd be. Well, no, I'd say aye. So it'll be Adrian. Usual. I think it'll be Fabinho, Phillips. So predicted Fabinho, Kabak, and then Trent, Robbo, midfield same three, and then the same front three. Ideally, I would like Phillips.
So Darren's 11 basically. Fabinho for Kabak.
Yeah, Fabinho for Kabak, but then I'd bring Jota in. I personally would keep Mane in and take Firmino out, but I'm not too fussy either or. I just think one of them needs to come out of the team. Yeah, but Firmino's Klopp's like son, isn't he? So he's not coming out of the team. So
yeah.
So, but for me, I'd just say I'd switch one in the front three for Jota. And do you know what? That's the one thing that annoys me. It's like I still can't get over that Man City game. Jota against Atlanta. Like, Liverpool fans don't know what a clinical finisher is. Like, Liverpool fans have not seen that. Every game we watch, right, you don't trust they're going to score. You're hoping.
Yeah.
But Jota in that game, and then he just moved everything to get Firmino in the City game, and it just didn't work. Then Jota was on the right, and he had a bad game. That really annoyed me in that game. So I hope Jota, for me, gets...
Even when Klopp benches Bobby, he looks pissed off about it.
just looks tired, mate. He just looks so tired all the time.
In that first half an hour, though,
there was actually one point I was going to pick up on after Monts' now you say that, but I'll pick up on very, very quickly before you finish. Monts.
Oh, he's going to say you had a point that he was going to pick up on.
No, I'm going to pick up on after your predicting.
For me, it's pretty much the same 11. But if Fabinho's fit, I'll put him in for Kabak, and instead of Thiago, Keita has to come in for me. Origi starts instead of Mane.
I told you, this guy's playing no games.
Drifty's got the cult, the following. It's happening.
I'm not. It's not even. It's not even Origi. Him deserving to play. It's Mane being so poor. Like, again, I'm looking at my eyes like sandpaper in my eyes, man. Just leave me. Like, come on, man. For me, yeah, it can be Origi. Firmino, Bobby. Do you know what it is? For me, I know Bobby. He's the iffy man at the moment. He's iffy, but when he did have a good game, but okay, it was against Sheffield, and he's easy to be marked out of the game at times. But you see with Bobby, yeah. Let me just say, Kyle's gonna love this actually. Let me just say, Saint said he said straight away that, you know, the best quality is availability. Well, one of the best qualities is availability. Bobby's always available. He's always available. He's always available. So when was the last time Bobby missed a game? This leaves me very nicely. When's the last time Bobby missed a game? What? Probably when? I can't remember. Champions League? Like really missed it. Like really had a spell out. Champions League, when we had to come back against Barca, like literally, he's been so available for us. So the fact that, you know, he just keeps on going and he keeps on going at it is still optimistic for me, because I feel like he can just drop in, and I don't feel like chances are really created without Bobby. You know, our chances, if Trent's having a bad game, it's coming from Bobby, and we need someone to play those slip passes, the slot balls and stuff like that, because as much as we love Curtis and Wijnaldum and Thiago's playing too deep to feed people. Curtis loves to carry the ball, and sometimes he thinks, oh yeah, I'm 20-year-old, I shouldn't be doing this, and just goes backwards. I've seen it happen many a times where he goes backwards when he just keep being positive as he is, and Wijnaldum just loves to take 100 touches outside of the box and thinks he's playing keep ball or rondo or whatever. So, you know, if it's going to come from anyone, it's going to come from Firmino. I just don't think I'm ready to see a lineup, the front three without Firmino and us just feel like we're not going to score all unless someone comes from a moment of brilliance.
Well, just saying that, One Touch has just pretty much said, Monts, allow it. Bobby, bench him, allow it, bro.
No, them man have lacquer, so I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to hear it. Lacquer's out here whining with man. He's doing it. I'm not trying to hear it.
I want to say one thing, right? I'll read this question out. This statement. Mane maybe needs to sit on the bench for a couple of games, but until Jota is ready to start a game, I wouldn't drop him. 100% drop Bobby for Origi. Stop disrespecting the smoothest guy in the league. Now, in terms of what I was going to say, every game now, there's 11 or 12 games or something like that. And for us, because of the precarious situation we're in, pretty much every game, be it against Fulham, against Chelsea, I don't care who the hell it is, it's pretty much must win. In saying that, we've got a couple of players that like Robbo, Trent, Mane, like every game is like, yeah, we've got Nico there, we've got Simicast there, we've got, Origi there. We're like, oh, no, this game's too important. Are we in danger of kind of running these players into the ground again? Like I'd said when Milner got injured, I for one wasn't that surprised. I wasn't that surprised. When Hendo got injured, I wasn't that surprised. I'd said it way back in the back of my head, like, please don't let Hendo get sick. Do you know what I mean? And like, are we kind of at risk of doing that again, especially knowing how Klopp likes to keep things?
Yeah, not enough rotation. I agree. There's not enough rotation.
I mean, it just shows you that as a squad, we're lacking so much depth. Like, you look at City's bench, or City's like second 11 will compete in the Premier League, and you look at ours, and they're basically playing under 23s or under 18s. And we need a bit of rotation because Robbo played a ridiculous amount of minutes. Firmino played a ridiculous amount of minutes. Henderson, when he's not injured, played a ridiculous amount of minutes. And I think Salah as well and Mane. It's just these players do need a bit of a break, and it's just like you're running them until they get an injury, and we can't kind of work like that. We need people in positions where we can change it up when it's not working. Like, for example, if let's just say at the moment now, let's just say someone in the middle of the pitch is having a bad game, we've got the option of Keita, or if we start with our normal front three and someone's struggling or not having a good game yet, we've got the chance to bring in a Jota. But we need to have more than just one option. We need to have 2 or 3 options. And most of these options that I'm talking about weren't even there for the last few games. So I feel like you're literally just putting your players in a position where they're essentially just waiting. They're just playing as good as they can until they get injured.
Pretty much, I agree, and I think that we are. Like I said, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I need Robbo to play, but then I'm like, mate, Robbo's legs must be. He needs a break. Do you know? When does the Simicast come in? I mean, Darren, what would you say in terms of that?
Well, it's a tough one because if you play Simicast, you play Nico Williams, you play some of these other lads, and results go against you, Klopp's going to be getting called out because you didn't play the lads. I mean, they're on so much money, yet they're professional footballers. And then also remember as well, a lot of these players, well, apart from Gini, Bobby, Robbo, they've all had a couple of injuries this season where they would have some time to get their recovery back, focus, get revitalised again and go again. And we all probably knew that we're playing 8 months of football this season where it was 9 months of football in 8 months, you know what I mean? Because of the pandemic, the season started in September, but was still expected to end in May. So there's a lot of games thrown in there with all the domestic cups with the Champions League. So it was always going to be a more intense season and much more demanding than ever. It's going to be the most the most demanding Premier League season of all time, and that's proven it. Hence why there's been so many injuries, not just to us, but some of the other teams as well. Yeah. But it's a tricky one to say, really. With 12 games to go, we're in the Champions League still. You would like to see changes, and I think, as I just touched on a while ago, with 3 games coming up now in 6 days, I think there will be changes. But I don't know whether we'll see the Sorry,
changes for the Fulham game, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly. But then if Fulham, they're probably looking. They look like they could stay up when you look at all the other teams around. Like I think West Brom and Sheffield United will definitely get down. But I don't know. We played away to them earlier in the season. They gave us a really tough game. We were probably lucky in some ways to only get a point. So I don't know. I wouldn't take that for granted either.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to call. I don't know when we'll do it, but we put ourselves in a really tough
We don't know when
situation.
it will do it, but it needs done. Is that what we're saying?
That's
It
the
needs
one
done,
issue,
but I don't know
guys.
when we'll do it.
The one issue with that, we're not going to get into the topic, but we had a good backup in Klein. And I said at the time, we got too gassed with the Trent thing. We didn't think more intelligently about that because Klein, we beat Man U 3-1. Shaqiri scores twice. Who's playing right back in that game? Smoothly, no bother. Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah.
But like
And he only came
usual,
into
like
that
most
game after
fans,
a
we
long
get too
time out.
excited
That
and we don't
one
think
game.
about it logically.
Yeah.
But Klein was solid before he got injured. That's how Trent got in. Remember, Klein got a bad injury. So it's like... That's why I don't agree with it. Yeah, but see the Nico Williams thing, I don't agree with that because you had Klein who could step in. There you go, he stepped in because he's a competent footballer. We shouldn't have to worry about Nico Williams or Shimikas because of first team players. They should be able to step in.
Yeah.
So I think with this apprehension towards Nico Williams means he's not ready. So you need to get a right back who's ready. I'm sure Shimikas would be fine. At the end of the day, he's played for Olympiacos. He looks quite suitable. Would be all right. But I think because Rob was like extraordinary when it comes to stamina and that. Like you say, he looks tired. I've only seen a few games. Like it was a couple months. Last month he looked tired, but yesterday he looked good to me. And if he keeps playing like that,
it's not even. I don't even think it's the case of he looks tired. It's the case of like the guy must be a fucking human, bro. Like he must. You know, like I just don't want to. I don't want to rinse him out. I would much rather he be in a position to be like, you know what, you don't play that game, you play that game, as opposed to but we don't have the option now.
They're all cup finals now, though, mate. That's the thing because we need to win most games if we're going to get top four. So
that's why I pose the question, and I like that everyone kind of had the same response.
I think Shimikas could do a job, though. I think Shimikas. See, to be fair, right? If you've got Trent and Shimikas, it's fine because Trent's still going to be having the majority down his side, and Shimikas will be reasonable. But this is the thing: we keep apprehension about Nico Williams. If we're having this conversation, then he's not ready. So you need another right back. It's quite simple.
Nico Williams is fine, mate. It's just the fact that we have to change our style. He doesn't give the balls going. Do you know what I mean? And that's
I get that. But Klein's like a competent footballer who comes in and can just defend, and you don't have to worry about it. Nico Williams, you worry about it. So for me, we keep thinking a bit too small team mentality sometimes. We want to be a big team, but yet we're having apprehension if we can get someone who can cover it right back. So it's like, what do we want here? Do we want to be like I just think we need to be ruthless sometimes, that's all. Like there's loads of good right backs out there who you could have got, like Sergio Roberto's I think you could get him from Barca. He could play in 3 different positions, could play right back, centre mid. There's people out there. I just think we need to be a bit more ruthless than we're being with that area because Trent could get a bad injury, and would you be happy if Nico Williams played the rest of the season?
Or James Milner? There now.
I don't know.
If James Milner is keeping him out, then what does that say about your cover right back? I like Nico Williams. Don't get me wrong. I just think he needs to go out on loan somewhere because, like, look at Harvey Elliott. I think he just needs to go out and get confidence.
Can I make the point as well? I don't know. There was a point last season where our system was so potent that Klopp could take out. He could probably take out any player, and it wouldn't be maybe 4 or 5 changes. He could go, do you know what, Genie, have a rest today. Ox come in. Or he'll get, or I don't know, Shaqiri will come in for one of the wingers. Or, Origi would come in for the odd game. And we'd just keep winning. And I don't know what that was down to, but I was having this debate with a few of my cousins. They were saying the thing is about Liverpool and why they're so good right now is that Klopp, it's not that Liverpool have the craziest depth in talent. Like, Klopp will just bring in another midfielder. He'll bring in a Milner. He'll bring in an Ox. Naby will come on. And it will be the same stuff. It's the same operation. Everyone knows what their job is. Why is it now that we're almost struggling to think, I mean, if we bring him in, it's going to be Klopp's head. If we don't get the result, is it risky bringing...
Because of the precarious situation we find ourselves in, like we always said, it's a World Cup final every game. You know
we have to finish top 4.
If we went back to where we were now last season and we lost to Watford, no one caring. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you know what I'm saying, we've got distance. Like now, because of how it is, everything has to work now and has to work. It's like if you've got like something that's rolling and there's a ball just sitting there, it will pick it up and it will just carry it on. Do you know what I mean? And that was us. Like anyone you put there, we just picked them up.
And we had a spine. We still had a spine.
We still had a spine.
Them,
them
incomers coming in.
It's been so
This time last season we were a prime example of social distance, and weren't we? How far we were ahead of the rest. So, but unfortunately, it's not like that now. Yeah.
Now,
one toucher on me. They're on me.
Bubble. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
What it is. Listen, guys, I know Conroy. I don't even want you to be having to work until unseen hours of the night, man. But
no, it's fine. It's fine, mate. It's honestly all good.
I just want to say thank you ever so much for everyone that's jumped on. It has been an absolute pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks, bro.
I'm one of those guys, man. I just spring things on you. I contacted you individually, like, yeah, just come on. But now you're here. This is actually a new show that I want to try and get going. It's the first episode. I know I'm not gonna have everyone, but just a catch up to just basically talk about how the week's gone and that. So, we'll be doing this again, and literally for myself and everyone that was watching, thank you ever so much for taking the time to join me, man.
No worries.
Enjoy that a lot.
Cheers, guys.
Before we get out, please, guys, just shout out everyone so that we know where we can find you. Monts, Big Six Bants, let them know. Yeah,
man, Big Six Bants, Instagram, YouTube, it's all there. Covering everything about the Premier League. So LFCTV, if you want to get in touch, we can run that. We can run that.
I will be there. I'll facilitate that. Where trust me,
my guys though, big up One Touch TV though, for real. Big them up.
Daz, let them know.
Yeah,
you, man.
Darren Whelan, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Give us a follow there. Give us a follow back, and all the latest LFC content we'll come up with, and a few funny jokes just like the last one. So I tend now and again to go on a live and get people just buzzing, especially when the spirits are low, you know what I mean? I like to have the newborn vibes, you know what I mean? No funeral vibes here.
That Irish accent, that my favorite Irish accent over here.
I like having the, do you know what I mean? The juxtaposition. You go from the lofty, nice, and then you've got Conroy who comes in with the, hey, cut the shit. This is what it is.
I'm genuinely not like that, but it's just been a bit like that with Liverpool recently, and it's just a bit. I had enough at the weekend.
Do you know what it is? Conroy's living in 2015, 2016 right now. That's Liverpool.
Mate, I remember. I just picture Rodgers and I picture that Steve Gerrard's last game every day, and I'm like constantly.
Because sometimes I find myself thinking of some absolute. Like, I listen to what you say. I'm like, nah. Yeah, you're right, man. Conroy, you're right. Like,
Conroy, I get it wrong a lot as well, mate. So don't worry about that. But you can get me just on Twitter. So it's @_Conroy H.
Lovely. And official Saif, man. Let them know.
Exactly like you said. Just search the official Saif on Instagram or YouTube, and you'll find me. Mostly matchday vlogs. Doing a lot of streams nowadays as well. You'll see all of these guys on there as well. So yeah, make sure you check that out.
Yeah, we're one big family, man. So it's all good. Listen, guys, thank you ever so much. And Chelsea, we're coming for you.
That's it.
Let's go.
McGoldrick thing.